Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to PeaceOfRen, where we drop gems and we speak for them. Welcome to episode 4 of my video journal, or my digital documentary of my life, documenting my existence. Oh, I'm never gonna get used to saying that. Okay, well, this episode is pretty obvious, starting off strong. So, I have decided to take my physical wellness a lot more serious lately. And not that I didn't care before or I wasn't intentional before. And I think I might have said something like this in a previous video, but I'm not sure. But I just realized that, you know, I was talking about self-care, yes, because when life happens, our self-care is one of the first things to go. So, in addition to, self-care that you might be thinking, like how I said, hair, skin, nails, and things of that nature, but also like our physical wellness, because I feel like we start turning to convenience, and so working out becomes inconvenient. Because it just takes up too much time, or we can't find time, or especially when it comes to like diet and things as well. So we end up eating a lot of fast food, or just eating a lot more meals based around convenience, but they're not always necessarily the healthiest. Now, that's not to say that health cannot be convenient, because it absolutely can, but you know what I'm saying. Man, I don't want to say I was dreading putting this one out. I'm very self-conscious, especially when I try or do new things, right? Not that I've never worked out before in my life, but I actually found these workouts on, it was like this girl had popped up on Facebook, and I can't even think of her name, and so many people use like fake accounts and things, so I don't know if it was really her, but I had seen this standing core workout on Facebook, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like, fun. And I know you might be thinking like a workout being fun, but like, yeah, because working out is fun when you feel like doing it, when you feel excited about it. And I think what really helped me or feel like this was going to be something that was fun is because it didn't feel forced. I realized I'm a very rhythmic person, so like I'm not just gonna sit here and say it's like dancing workouts or something like that, but the motion is very repetitive. It doesn't feel like strict or like restricting, if that makes sense. Yes, look at those good old jumping jacks. The confusion on my face is because I have not done jumping jacks in a while, and I feel like whenever I see them online, I see people do them different. Y'all know sometimes like it's like the arms and the legs line up, but mine don't ever seem to do that. Like, is it supposed to line up? Does it matter? Does it not matter? I don't know. These are the things that plague my mind. These are the things that make me nervous to show things like this. I'm not gonna lie, this workout, man, this was it was a beast. I think these are second reps, it looks like. I decided to do about 10 to 12 of each set, and then 2 reps of each. I feel like that's something good to start off with. I think that's another reason a lot of people don't stick to working out, because we really try to like push ourselves, and then no wonder you don't want to do it. Like you start dreading the workout. So I just try to do something that felt feasible. I think it's really important to set goals that are more realistic, because then you're likely to do it. By all means, we should have long-term goals, and we should have, bigger goals and things set for ourselves. But I think it's important to also set some minor or more achievable or attainable goals along the way, because those small wins add up. Something that's been sticking with me this season of my life is consistency over intensity, because I like many of us could be a person who's like, I feel like in order to have the greatest impact, it has to be like intense. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big. And like, you know, it sounds good, but in reality, it always just burns me out in the long run. So instead of thinking like a great big explosion that fizzes out like right away, Spirit has been really pushing like slow burn, okay? In connection, like this is in connections with others, but this is also just with the things that I want to do, because it's very easy for me to get burnt out on my journey. I'm very much like an all or nothing kind of person. I can be a perfectionist, and I think that's what makes things hard, you know? And I talked about this in the episode 3 as well, that perfectionism, waiting for the perfect time to have the perfect resources and the perfect environment. And sometimes you have to take the moment and make it perfect and just learn as we go. And when I was actually rewatching this, I started tearing up because you know you're really vulnerable when you share your life online and you share the way that you live and exist. And I know it's a lot of opinions out here on the internet, and I don't know, I worked really hard to like practice these forms. So it's like some of them where they're supposed to be 10 to 12 reps, I definitely feel like I did a lot more. There was a lot more footage that got cut because those were more like practice runs. I was really trying to make sure that I had my form and my stance right, because I think that's the most important thing when it comes to working out, instead of just jumping in and worried about how it looks. Like these, I had looked these up, so I did that stretch first because that's how they describe, like, the way that it was supposed to go. But I feel like I did so many of these just trying to perfect it and get it right. And I'm bow-legged, y'all. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm bow-legged. So I feel like even when I'm in the perfect stance, something just doesn't feel right about the perfect stance, okay? But just know that I'm doing my best, okay? If you see me doing something wrong, please gently correct me, okay? Because I'm not foolish enough to think that I know everything. I know we can always grow, and that's another reason this is so exciting. But I was just really proud of myself because like I'm really doing it. And I actually set, like, instead of doing it every day, I set 3 days out the week to do it. And this was actually my very first one that I'm posting. Yesterday was actually the third workout. And I think I'm going to keep posting these just to see the progress, because I'm really excited, because we get to see how the form is like, perfected or refined. And I'm just really excited. And then to see the gains, because it happens over time. Again, consistency over intensity. Like, you don't just go work out for an hour and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna have muscle. It's like, no, you see the small gains over time that add up to big gains. Excuse me. And confirmation what makes this also super cool for me too, though, is the fact that when I started this, I didn't really start with the goal of I'm trying to lose weight. I started with the goal of I just want to be healthy. I feel like I've always had issues with my image because people have always talked about me being too small. But then when I got a little thick and I got a little chunky, then people talked about the weight I put on. So it's like people are going to talk. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that you feel happy and you feel healthy. And that's what I feel like this journey is doing for me. So just really excited. I'm feeling really grateful to be here. And I'm looking forward to grow with you guys. Yes, look at these gains. I was sweating my behind off, okay? Yes, girl, because you did that. And don't forget to hydrate, y'all, please, because you'll be out here on somebody's floor. But let's just continue to grow and be happy and healthy and do our best.